Now this slide is my favorite slide. It's 22 years old. I'll bet everybody in the room has seen this one before. And notice the comment I took from Richard Medina of DocuLabs. He said that in 2000, 12 years ago. And it's still just as valid. We're still underestimating people's natural reluctance to do what we ask them to do. We're still underestimating it. Now, this is where we take a microscope, and let's take a look at the problem. This is what every single user has to go through in order to simply put a document in an EDRMS. There are 3 steps, and I'd like to encourage you to ask each of the vendors to explain to you how these 3 steps are done with their software. And then when they finish the demonstration, 49 minutes later, say, thank you. Now, show me how I can get that in 5 seconds or less. Okay? The vendors will know exactly what you're talking about. I've already pretty well put them through this torture, so you're not going to be the first. But do ask them those 2 questions, okay? Now, here's what has to happen. Each of these is mathematically impossible to escape. You have to do all 3. First, you have to tell the system, is it something you're not finished with, otherwise known as a work in progress? Is it a business record, or is it a reference document? We're not going to explain what those all are today, but that has to happen first. Second is, great, if it's a present or future record, then we have to classify it, meaning pick the right category from the file plan. That's the second piece that has to happen. And the third piece is, now we've got to fill in metadata fields, right? Who am I? Who's the author? What's the true document date? And what is the category code? Things like that. So my contention is that there's a minimum of 4 user-exposed fields you have to fill out in order to practice the craft of records keeping. Minimum 4. So in your mind, add all that up. Now do it 5 or 6 times a day, and then you see the problem. So the difference, if you go to each of the vendors in the room next door, ask them to show you that, they'll all show you different techniques, methods, and that's all good. But that's what you got to understand is, show me how I can pull those 3 things off in under 5 seconds.